friends, I'm just an average American. But I'm an American. And some of the things I see in this country of ours make my blood boil. I see people with foreign and money. I see Negroes holding jobs that belong to me and you. Now I ask you, if we allow this thing to go on, what's going to become of us real Americans?
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America.
This fellow seems to know what he's talking about.
What are we real Americans going to do about it? You'll find it right here in this little pamphlet. The truth about Negroes and foreigners. The truth about the Catholic Church.
Do you believe in that kind of talk?
I don't know. Makes pretty good sense to me.
And I tell you, friends, we'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without. Without what? Yeah, without what? Without Negroes. Without alien foreigners. Without Catholics. Without Freemasons. You know these things.
What's wrong with the Masons? I'm a Mason. Hey, that fellow's talking about me.
And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
These are your enemies. These are the people who are trying to take over our country.
That's the Don't Be a Sucker. Don't Be a Sucker 1947 movie, black and white there, talking about the intolerance, the racism, and right on par with the Oscars So Gold, the topic we've been talking about the last broadcast, and now into this one. We're about 6 days away or ago was the Oscars rally, the Klan rally that's known as the Academy Awards. And this one proved to be quite the awards. And we're going to get into what happened, all the winners. And, you know, if you had watched the first broadcast that we had done, the word that was given or the word that was heard was that was that a lot of the predictions we made did end up being accurate or coming true. Or what happened last week in the awards, well, we can get into what happened, but the main one prediction that we had was that the Best Actor award would end up going to the Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio, and we made the prediction, and well, this is what happened if you had heard.
This is the first Oscar and sixth nomination for Leonardo DiCaprio.
Thank you all so very much. Thank you to the Academy. Thank you to all of you in this room. I have to congratulate the other incredible nominees this year for their unbelievable performances. The Revenant was a product of the tireless efforts of an unbelievable cast and crew I got to work alongside. First off, to my brother in this endeavor, Mr. Tom Hardy. Tom, your fierce talent on screen can only be surpassed by your friendship off screen. To Mr. Alejandro Inarritu. As the history of cinema unfolds, you have forged your way into history these past 2 years. What an unbelievable talent you are. Thank you to you and Chivo for creating a transcendent cinematic experience for all of us. Thank you to everybody at Fox and New Regency, in particular Arnon Milchan. You were the champion of this endeavor. My entire team. I have to thank everyone from the very onset of my career, Mr. Caden Jones, for casting me in my first film, Mr. Scorsese, for teaching me so much about the cinematic art form, to Mr. Rick Yorn. Thank you for helping me navigate my way through this industry, and to my parents. None of this would be possible without you. And to my friends, I love you dearly. You know who you are. And lastly, I just want to say this. Making The Revenant was about man's relationship to the natural world, a world that we collectively felt in 2015 as the hottest year in recorded history. Our production needed to move to the southern tip of this planet just to be able to find snow. Climate change is real. It is happening right now.
So that was the Leonardo DiCaprio. Somehow we just got an error right there, but well, you'd heard enough there. He gets into the climate change and just graciously accepts his award, Best Actor, finally winning after many years. And I didn't necessarily disagree, because I did think he gave probably the best performance of at least of the nominees that I had seen. And maybe the runner-up was the guy that was Steve Jobs, who's another of these Illuminati frontmen. Maybe the character that the fur trader or explorer, that the character that the Revenant is based on, could have even been one if. Well, there's partially parts of the movie are apparently a fictionalized account inspired by a real guy who actually was involved with the fur trade. And that business is definitely the one of the original Illuminati businesses of North America, because it was it's basically bringing in a new business into a place that didn't quite have a business of massive slaughtering of animals just for the fur. And that would go back to just because there would be thousands of animals here to do that to, and they would send the furs back to the the original countries that the colonies were from. And that was the trade that would happen. And what happened to the First Nations in that time or whatever after is really the dark spot that this movie does partially shine a light to, but then it also creates sort of a fictional narrative, these white knight scenarios that maybe don't have the basis in reality that others do. And that's where we get into who Leo thanked there. If he had watched the last time Oscars So Gold Till the Bitter End, you might remember when we talked about Leonardo DiCaprio winning previous awards for Best Actor, including the Golden Globe, the British Film Actors Award, I think the Screen Actors Guild Award. And each of the thanks that he does, he gives a thank you to the producer, Arnon Milchan, who's also one of the richest men in the world, a top billionaire, and apparently an arms dealer in Russia. At one time, he was a secret agent, a spy. And that's why it was interesting, because we had predicted that he would thank Arnon Milchan, single him out for a thank you, as he had thanked the director, singled him out, who also won Best Director. And I think it was the second year in a row he might have won. He might have won last year as well. And this producer, I guess, has won a lot of awards because he had produced some of the other winners in the past years. So really, he's on a roll, Arnon Milchan. And if you watch the Oscars So Gold, you'll hear what we were saying in there. But in this recent speech that DiCaprio gives, he not only does he do a shout out to climate change, or the scam global warming hoax, but then he also changes the speech, because he had done the same line in all the previous awards acceptance speeches, till the bitter end. He stuck by the film. Arnon Milchan stuck by the film till the bitter end, but this time he gave it as you were the champion of this endeavor. And what is the endeavor? We're not sure. Check out Judiciary Report if you're wondering what's up with this the bracelet here that Leonardo DiCaprio has been wearing in these different award speech acceptance speeches. It's this red bracelet. Different theories on that, like a possible Kabbalah cult, or what's it? JudiciaryReport.com, VigilantCitizen.com. Some of the different sites that talk about the symbology of what all this stuff really means. Because the Oscars is full of symbology. And what about the thing that he was talking about was an endeavor that you had been the champion of this endeavor, Arnaud Milchan. And it is does just so happen that one of the biggest talent agencies in the world is the Endeavor Talent Agency, now known as the William Morris Endeavor, WME. It's the biggest, if you're involved with that. Basically, in 2009, this is, right after Obama gets in as the Hollywood president, we have a situation here where the two largest talent agencies combined, so all the and it's Ari Gold is running it, Ari Emanuel, who's basically the brother of Rahm Emanuel, who's working in the White House at this time. This all happens, and he's still the key player right now in the William Morris Endeavor Agency. And it just so happens that they use the word agency and agents throughout Hollywood, which is also throughout the secret agent world, the James Bond espionage, or whatever arms dealers are now producers. And the whole idea that Hollywood could be really a clever front controlled or influenced by these Illuminati think tanks or government agencies, the Alphabet Men or the Men in Black, whoever, the Time Splitters, whoever's really whoever you can think of, because that's really what the last episode proves. And one thing that this Oscars had was entertainment. There was an entertainment value to it. The one thing is that the whole Oscars, like if you're trying to compare it with previous awards of the Oscars, was that this particular one was all a theme, and it took the Oscars So White theme, or the idea of celebration of Black culture, into a next level. And the opening monologue was hilarious. There was a clip I was able to find. It actually is the Oscars hasn't got around to posting the monologue yet. So there is just basically, there's like clips you can find on YouTube. And I think I found one in a Complex magazine. And it's the Oscars So Gold, where the host, Chris Rock, you knew he would get into it, and it was a high prediction that he would bring up this basically racism and the Oscars So White phenomenon, all these white characters. And I think this Complex magazine gets into this. Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, they're going to protest or picket the awards with Al Sharpton, maybe, or would they actually just be watching at home or on an elephant tusk safari? Let's see what Rock had to say here, because it's that fight to power.
Otherwise known as the White People's Choice Awards. You realize if they nominated host, I wouldn't even get this job.
Rock spoke directly to the protests against this year's show, but highlighted that a lot of the issues discussed this year, unfortunately, aren't new.
It's the 88th Academy Awards. It's the 88th Academy Awards, which means this whole no Black nominees thing has happened at least 71 other times. Okay? You gotta figure that it happened in the 50s, in the 60s. Black people did not protest. Why? Because we had real things to protest at the time.
It is interesting to note that this is not really something new. This is like it's an Oscars So White thing that I guess had a hashtag started last year, but it still goes on.
It's not a TV show.
I think
Jada's gonna boycott the Oscars. Jada boycotting the Oscars.
I think there's a part coming up here where Chris Rock mentions the basically the underlying message, the whole prediction or what we're trying to get across in the Oscar So Gold special. He even hints at it right here directly in the opening monologue, pointed on Hollywood being a racist entity.
Is it Vernon Cross racist? No. Is it fetch me some lemonade racist? No. It's a different type of racist. You're damn right Hollywood's racist, but it ain't the racist that you've grown accustomed to. Hollywood is sorority racist. It's like, we like you, Rhonda, but you're not a Kappa.
Approaching the end of his monologue, Chris Rock spoke honestly.
So he's being crudely honest there by talking about the Hollywood, what Hollywood has endeavored to do here, and what he's being his role to play here at the Oscars as an entertainment is a funny man, but he's doing a pointed criticism here on the industry, on his bread and butter here, that it is a sorority, and what he is basically the sorority is just the female form of the fraternity, which is what the as we were saying in the last episode, the Academy operates as a secret society, and Hollywood is sort of like that when you get into how basically the expose. I'm not even going to say the expose of all the stars, because that's one of the other things I was going to mention with the alphabet agencies is the TMZ is a CIA. Well, the connections with TMZ and the CIA are they're heavily researched online if you look in the right avenues, because we got a 30-mile zone in LA, and we've got basically these teams of basically like stalking photo interrupters, I guess. I don't know what you call them other than the paparazzi is what I guess their gang name is. But most of them are, a TMZ, or they'll work for whatever tabloid they can sell them to. But TMZ stays on top of where, basically tracking where all the celebrities are and where they're going. And that is these spy techniques. And if they're really getting tipped off by the agencies, then who are these agents working for? Their actual clients, the celebrities, or are they working for the tabloids, or do they know the power of the bad press is so much that they're going this far to do it? Well, there could be a chance that the celebrities that get smeared, and I'm thinking like, Randy Quaid, or, the guys that'll be exposing the Illuminati aspects of all this, are not part of the sorority that Chris Rock is talking about. And the sorority, we don't like you, you said this, you did that. Another hint of how this, and we're going to get into the winners here, because there is the chart here on the Oscars channel, and what I can do here is show you that the aspect of original song here it is. It was Earned It, 50 Shades of Grey, Manta Ray, Racing to Extinction, Simple Song number 3 of Youth, Till It Happens to You, Hunting Ground, and Writing on the Wall, Spectre, which won. Basically only 3 of these songs were performed, including this one, the 50 Shades of Grey, which I think won the Razzie, the worst movie of the year. Even that one got a performance because The Weeknd did this one. And Till It Happens to You, that was the one that Vice President Joe Biden, and so once you see him there, there's a scheme going on here, introduces Lady Gaga to do this one, Till It Happens to You. That one gets into the problem with the sexual assaults on campus, and the other 2, apparently they weren't invited to perform. So let me just see if I can go back here. I don't know why it keeps on on the show. Okay, so we're gonna get into Best Picture because it actually wasn't The Revenant that won. It was actually surprisingly Spotlight ends up winning, and this is on Oscars.com, the official site of the Oscars. So this is a complete list, and at least it also gives some of the all the other candidates and stuff. So it's interesting to go through now in hindsight, I guess, now that we know what has happened. And basically, what I was going to say here is that even if, one of these other songs, Manta Ray, I'm not sure if it's Manta Ray or Simple Song, might have even been by a transgender music artist, that even if they're along with, part of a New World Order agenda, they're still not going to be invited to perform unless they're in the sorority group, that maybe The Weeknd, Lady Gaga, or Sam Smith could be part of. That's why they're being basically hyped or promoted, and it could also have to do with the politics, because if you remember on the episode last week when we talked about the thing we've got highlights of the highlight reel that we created on Oscars So Gold, Oscars So White highlight reel, and because all these celebrities have talked about the controversy, the racism of the Academy. And surprisingly, it was actually George Lucas that mentioned that he's not going to get into the conspiracy theory, which just when he says that, then maybe that actually goes to show you that he knows that there is this conspiracy. He just doesn't want to get into it. And I'm just trying to see if I can find the clip here. Because it was Oscars So Gold. And he said, oh yeah, here it is. He said that the Academy doesn't
sponsor you. I won't go into the conspiracy theory in the way. The thing about the Academy, it's a political campaign. Has nothing to do with artistic endeavor at all.
It's a political campaign that has nothing to do with artistic endeavor. So even though maybe the movie that won the best director and the best actor, The Revenant, might have been the most artistic of at least of the nominees. Of the nominees I saw, because I admit I didn't see all of them, but of the ones that I saw, at least of the ones that were this list here of nominees, the winner went to Spotlight, which is more, it's a political. It's the politics of the Academy, I guess, that puts that one in more than Revenant, because they're both, good movies. But I had a feeling this one could win, and I might have even mentioned it as a possible runner-up because it does get into multiple. Not to say that the Revenant doesn't, but I think the Spotlight really does get into the multiple New World Order agendas, and it brings it into a more of a modern light because it takes place in the early 2000s, I guess more in the Bush era. And, there was a Toronto connection because some of it was apparently part of it was filmed in Toronto. But I mentioned last week you can find some information or a good rant on a good show about the fact that Spotlight is just part of it is to promote the newspaper business, which has already been proven as a main propaganda tool, along with movies of how the New World Order agenda gets pushed. So the Spotlight does expose one of the biggest conspiracies that there is, which is the sexual abuse within the Catholic Church and how that's been covered up worldwide, most specifically in Boston, which is well known as a, Irish Catholic city of, in America. And so where does the Vatican, where does the reach of the Vatican go? And at least they were able to mention, I think they also won an award on screenwriting. And it might have been best adapted screenplay. Well, there's the two categories was a best original screenplay or best adapted screenplay. Adapted was The Big Short. That was another one that was good because it gets into the financial crisis and what a scam that was. Basically, could be a few insiders that made some, because Spotlight is the best original screenplay. So it's not really based on original work, but it was based on, I think I had watched some interviews. They said it was extensive interviews they did with the people, actual characters that were involved with the story, including the survivors, the abuse survivors, and how they would try to explain it to the journalists. So there is a side to it of Spotlight that they do exceptionally well, where the journalists themselves realize that they're on, part of their job is on the villain side of this whole thing, and basically part of the problem. There's these short film categories that most people don't know. Most of the other categories, you'll see Mad Max winning all of them, except visual effects Ex Machina won, which I'll have to check out, because it's always good to see a few good special effects. I think it's got Oscar Isaacs in it, who has gotten famous now with Poe Dameron, and he's going to be Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse. But all the others are going Mad Max, which was a good movie, although I was, thinking Star Wars could win some. Sicario was a good movie on the cartels. Martian, we've got the NASA scam, and Mad Max is basically, it's sort of a remake of the original Mad Max with the Mel Gibson character, but it adds a high octane. It's very high octane. It's a moves fast, which also I could say about Force Awakens, but the pace of the Mad Max really picks up. It's got a lot of basically a big road chase movie, and part of it reminded me of those wacky races, whatever is Hanna-Barbera, or it's sort of, it does, some of it's a bit over the top, but it does portray a time in the earth, I guess a time in the future after there had been some nuclear destruction or apocalyptic events, or maybe even to update it, they talk about it's a climate change hoax or whatever. But we also heard Leonardo DiCaprio earlier talk about that climate change hoax in his acceptance speech, Best Actor. Let me go up to the acting awards here. Bryan Cranston Trumbo was nominated. We know him from Breaking Bad, but Trumbo is apparently the Red Scare, which was the politics of America and Hollywood combined in the during the Red Scare. I guess maybe in the 1950s or whenever they had it, when the Red or the communists were the villains, they could go through and see if any of the Hollywood elite were leaning that way. And I'm sure there's total some truth to that when you see how wild they are for the Democrats. These guys, Matt Damon or Sean Penn or whoever they can find. So this one, Matt Damon, The Martian, I mentioned, gets into a bit of the NASA scam because he works for NASA there, and he is promoting a science-based best comedy, I think, of the Golden Globes. It was the best comedy. Leonardo DiCaprio plays a fictional character based on a real life historical Illuminati fur trapper, and that was The Revenant. and what was it? Hugh Glass might have been. It might have been based on Hugh Glass. Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs, and we know Steve Jobs as well as the Apple, which is one of the top companies. In the Edward Snowden documents, we know that they are basically the cellular industry. These cell phones, computers, and tablets are large spying devices for the. They've all signed on. They've been exposed, and they're working on a lot of cover-ups. And I'm not sure totally where Steve Jobs fits into the mix, but if he's there from the beginning, then you know, he would have been there for when the original Apple went on sale for $666. The what was it? The Apple One. It looked like a wooden typewriter. With a screen. And then to round it off, Eddie Redmayne, who won last year as Stephen Hawking, is the Danish girl who's a transgender, transsexual. So it's the best actor, but you see what's happened. So the surprises in the acting category, we can point to supporting actor. Surprise was that Stallone did not win for Creed. We also see Best Actress. Brie Larson won in The Room. Supporting role. Let's just scroll down here to animated film. We're seeing Inside Out. I don't know many of these other movies, animated movies, but Inside Out was heavily promoted this year. Features these, and this one I haven't seen, but just judging from what the clips I've seen and stuff, it's these sort of cartoon character, weird creatures inside a head. It's almost like the head of a human. You're gonna have these cartoon weird creatures running around in your head. It seems you don't know what they're, gender neutral, female, male, and I think they all had different emotions. It's sort of a haunted by demons type thing, but with a psychological aspect, because they have to promote the whatever scam they can think of. And you know, I guess for Inside Out, it's a psychology or psychiatry scam. Cinematography, Revenant. Yeah, it's good cinematography. Sicario actually had some amazing one amazing scene filmed at night. I don't know how they did it, but it was really something. Mad Max and Hateful Eight. Carol was one of the ones I didn't see. There's a few on this list, of course, that I haven't seen. Documentary. This was one of the ones I haven't seen. Amy is the winner, and so of course we know this one gets into an Illuminati scheme here. Just when you know that Amy Winehouse, who this movie is based on, was 27. She's a member of the 27 Club when she passed away. And I think this got behind the scenes, follows her all the way, I guess, through her career and even to the bitter end, as the 27 Club. And they do say that it was a overdose, but any like rock star that dies at 27, you gotta question what is really happening here. Cartel Land was one of the ones I had seen, and I guess we put that as the runner-up. Because it's on the Mexican cartels. It's basically like Sicario, but as a true story, where they show both sides, the cops and the cartels, El Paso and Juarez. And Look of Silence, not sure. One about Nina Simone. But here we have Winter on Fire, Ukraine's fight for freedom. So we know that is probably one of the high up on the list too, because the Ukraine, the scam there where they can blame Russia for basically engineering the ouster of the elected leader, because the elected leader was apparently too friendly with the neighboring country of Russia. and there's a whole history there with the Soviet Union. And basically, when I look into the Ukraine fight for freedom, there's no side that I would really want to pick. I would just want to try to get away from there. Most things are like that, like the war on terror, or probably any war. Film editing, even Mad Max Fury Road. Foreign language, you got Son of Saul. And then the music score. This was one of the feel-good moments, I guess, of it, was when the Hateful Eight won for original score, and the guy that did the score was, like, I guess, one of the oldest. Ennio Morricone was one of the oldest winners that they've had here. And the Hateful Eight is one of the ones that's basically directly a conspiracy. It's like a crime thriller, whodunit sort of. You could tell where Quentin Tarantino was influenced by the Mousetrap play, because it's all basically set in the one cabin during a snowstorm. So I can see it becoming a stage play. But the one thing with the movie is there's a great soundtrack. So the play, they'd either have to bring in the soundtrack or the only other one I was going to mention was the supporting actor Mark Rylance, Bridge of Spies, because as we had been talking about, and it's why it was Oscar so gold till the bitter end, and the maker of the producer, the driving force behind The Revenant, the guy that stuck with it till the bitter end, the champion of the endeavor, Arnon Milchan. If this is like the money man, the producer, even if he was a secret agent, then how many, how common is it throughout Hollywood? Brie Larson, the winner of Room, that maybe that was good to see, just because the best performance maybe of last year was actually by someone who didn't get that I had seen, because you can see the list of the movies I had seen on the Reason and Conspiracy show blog, which is reasonandconspiracy.wordpress.com, and you go through that list, and then probably the kid from Room, that was one of the best performances. Maybe Leonardo DiCaprio was good. And even in documentaries, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. But that's a whole other list. What we're talking about now is winners. And Best Supporting Actress was the girl from The Danish Girl, Alicia Vikander. I don't know. So I don't know if she plays a transgender, if she plays a man, or if she plays a friend of the Eddie Redmayne character. It also says she was in Ex Machina. Ex Machina, which won the best visual effects, is let me just show you here on the IMDb. 2015 movie is a sci-fi mystery drama. A young programmer is selected to participate in a groundbreaking experiment in synthetic intelligence, evaluating the human qualities of breathtaking humanoid AI. So you'll notice if you go through basically any of these winners or nominees or Oscars so white, Oscars so gold, you'll see almost all these movies have some connection with a New World Order agenda here. And here we have the AI, humanoid AI, probably a computer programmer. If they have this woman playing her too, there's probably the guy will fall in love with her, and she'll go all Terminator, and you can almost see the plot being spelled out here as as we're just discussing this. So as I said, the part with Chris Rock was hilarious, and he did get right into the heart of the matter on the Oscars so white, and basically what an absurd time that we're in. And one of the best of the evening was a surprise appearance, and one of the surprise appearances was the droids from Star Trek. So you talk about AI. What about these droids of the future? And you know, we know about the smartphones, the Android phones, and the iPhones through the Snowden documents, last year's Academy Award-winning documentary Citizen 4, which all these, you know, telecom companies are now trying to play it up that they're not working directly with the NSA or government or, you know, secret spy agencies. But if the Snowden documents are true, then you know they are. And if some of this research has been true, then you know where they're standing in terms of the Hollywood and the celebrity aspect of it. So what happens when we've got a presentation here, surprise celebrity presentation featuring not Sacha Baron Cohen, surprisingly, Ali G makes an appearance. So here's that clip here.
I know what you was thinking when I walked on. Here comes yet another token black presenter. But it ain't just me brethren that has been overlooked. It's all people of all colors. How come there's no Oscar for them very hard-working little yellow...
And that's not the full clip there, but he does mention, he goes, the very hardworking little yellow men, you know, the ones I'm talking about, the Minions. So he makes a joke on the Minions, but the part that I laughed about was how, you notice this glove here, how small it is. Just because I've been watching the the new OJ Simpson show, and it's not a good show. It's People versus OJ Simpson. It's like camp television or whatever, but it gets me thinking of the glove don't fit, it must have quit. And this guy is wearing basically like an OJ glove. Like, this glove is way too small for, look how big this hand is compared to the so it's got I did laugh, like, definitely at this part. And then he right at the end, he might even...
There's no Oscar for them very hard-working little yellow...
Very hard-working little yellow men, the Minions. So he's making a joke there about a cartoon. Why don't these cartoon guys win the Oscar? And they actually brought... I think he introduces them. They bring them out next. But what the Minions is, or the episode Oscars So Gold Till the Bitter End that we put on last week, that was one of the things mentioned in it, was that the substantial portion of the population that's Asian of America, and then they've won no acting Oscars. So you know, you talk about a racist environment, then you got to really think about or give credit to, you know, guys like George C. Scott or Marlon Brando, the two guys recorded in history that actually didn't show up to accept their awards because they knew that that it's basically a dog and pony show. Meat parade, what did he call it? Well, at least that's the George C. Scott opinion. I'm not sure what Marlon Brando's opinion was, but he did send that award to be accepted on his behalf by a Apache woman. So he did have some thoughts, I guess, on what a scam this I guess the races of things here. So I think that should be wrapping it up, because we've taken this till the bitter end, and there's going to be more awards, and then this goes on and on, because it's Oscars so gold, and it's till the bitter end. But this endeavor has been way underway, and the agendas are basically, they're everywhere. And this has just been another test broadcast. We're getting better each time. Each time we're going through it, and it's a live event. So we've done it. We've done it from first to last. In the bitter end, we're winning here. Trump's got a news conference on. Hollywood endorsement, is going to be towards Obama, or well, we'll see who the Democratic nominee is. It is election year, and who's really running Hollywood, we don't know. But
I encourage you to watch the history of
that'll
cinema.
be it.
Best actor for The Revenant.
Everyone at Fox and New Regency, especially Arnon Milchan, you stuck with us to the bitter end. And to my parents, a terrific year in film. Brad West and Jim Giannopoulos. But Arnon Milchan, there's no one in this industry that would stick with a film like this to its bitter end. You are the champion of this film. My entire team
goes
Jen,
to
Sean.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I want to thank my entire team back home. Of course, all the producers at Fox and New Regency, in particular Arnon Milchan. You stood by this film to the bitter end. I cannot thank you enough. And of course, Alejandro Inarritu. This film would not have been possible without your vision.
So keep watching here on the Reason Conspiracy live show. We'll be getting into different topics in the future. This has just been our Oscar specials, Oscars So Gold, and we'll try to get on some guests here to get really into it, the awful truth of the powers that be at hand, Oscars So Gold, till the bitter end. This is how we have it. Remember to check out the website, reasonandconspiracy.com, or well, I guess it was always supposed to have been the supplementary blog, but it sort of became the focus because we didn't have the show up and running. But now that we have the show up and running, it'll be the supplementary blog, reasonandconspiracy.wordpress.com, on YouTube, youtube.com/reconspiracy, that's RE Conspiracy, or on Twitter, reconspiracy. And you can find all the tweets. No, anyways, this is the sign off. Just for another quick update, we'll see how the broadcast goes in the archive. We're doing it live. Recon blog. D Liberty signing out. Toronto Truth Seekers.